The Chicago Education Watch with Dr. Barnett.
Hello, and welcome to Chicago Education Watch. I am Dr. Barnett. Thank you for joining me today. Chicago Education Watch was created with one simple mission: to help our community better understand the decisions shaping Chicago public schools and education as a whole in the city and state. Whether you're a parent, educator, student, taxpayer, board member even, or simply someone who cares about public education, this podcast is designed for you. Every month, we'll take the biggest topics from Chicago Board of Education meeting around Chicago, the city, and the state in terms of the topic being education, and answer two simple questions. What happened and why does it matter to us all? But I also want this podcast to be different. I don't want it just to be about my voice and the topics that I think is concerning, but your voice. I want you to add your voice to this discussion. Throughout today's episode, I'll ask questions that I'd like you to answer in the comments. There are no perfect answers. I don't have perfect answers. The board does not have perfect answers, but we are all on a journey to discover some solutions that will help shape and impact education and support our students. The goal is to create respectful conversations, again, where we can learn from one another. Some of your comments may even be featured in future episodes. So don't just watch the conversation, join in on the conversation. So let's get started. Inside the boardroom. Okay, so I am going to This episode, again, is the June 25th CPS board meeting, okay? And it is going to go beyond the headlines, and let's discover some things that really happened on the June 25th CPS board meeting. There are a few terms that I think that we need to go over to help us with that. Okay, so those terms are procurement is one of those terms. So procurement is how the school district purchases goods or services, whether it's technology, textbooks, transportation, or professional services. Procurement is the process used to ensure the district follows purchasing rules and spends public dollars responsibly. The next term to understand is, what is the consent agenda? A consent agenda is simply a group of routine items approved together with one vote. Board members review these term items in advance, and if no one requests separate discussions, they're approved as a group to help meetings run more efficiently. Okay, so now that we have those terms, let's watch a clip of the end of the board meeting. So at this board meeting, they approved certain agenda items. So we will review that. Let me share my screen, just a minute. So let's watch the agenda items be voted upon.
The board meeting of the Board of Education is reconvened.
This is after a closed session.
Board Secretary, please proceed.
Vice President Velez, I'll continue with items from the General Counsel that do require a vote. AR2, appoint Assistant General Counsel Naomi Forbes. AR3, appoint Assistant General Counsel Joshua Wiedner. AR4, amend workers' compensation payment for lump sum settlement for Willie Thomas. Vice President Velez, this amendment is necessary to change the settlement amount. I'll continue with AR5, workers' compensation payment for lump sum settlement for Kimberly Jackham Mellenthin. AR6, workers' compensation payment for lump sum settlement for Francine Kupik. AR7, approved payment of proposed settlement regarding claims brought by Hagan, King, Mohammed, Bowen, and Haywood.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll now open this matter for discussion. Board members, any comments before proceeding with the roll call vote? See none?
I'll proceed with a roll call. Member Lozano?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Aye.
Member Lopez?
Aye.
Member Boyle?
Yes.
Member Wallace?
Aye.
Member Custer?
Aye.
Member Pope?
Yes.
Member Rosenfeld?
Yes.
Yes.
Member Bannon?
Aye.
Member Gutierrez?
Aye.
Member Biggs?
Yes.
Member Blaze?
Aye.
Member Zakor?
Yes.
Member DeBerry?
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 nays. These matters are adopted by the board. Vice President Velez, I'll continue with items from the board that require a vote. RS6, resolution approving Superintendent Chief Executive Officer's recommendation to dismiss educational personnel. RS6, resolution approving Superintendent Chief Executive Officer's recommendation to dismiss probationary appointed teacher. Vice President Velez, these items do require a vote.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. I'll proceed with a roll call vote. Member Lozano?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Aye.
Member Lopez?
Aye.
Member Boyle?
Yes.
Member Wallace?
Aye.
Member Custer?
Aye.
Member Pope?
Yes.
Member Rosenfeld?
Yes.
Member Rivas?
Yes.
Member Bannon?
Aye.
Member Gutierrez?
Aye.
Member Biggs?
Yes.
Member Blaze?
Aye.
Member Zakor?
Yes.
Member DeBerry?
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 nays. These matters are adopted by the board. Vice President Velez, there are no further items on the agenda.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
So
Second.
moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
I survive and we adjourn. Thank you.
Okay, so you've just watched the ending of the board meeting. It lasted several hours. And as you see, they voted on those agenda items there. So let me just stop that. Let's continue to play. Okay. Let me stop that right there. Okay. So now let's move on to one of the items that was discussed on the board agenda was the finance update. Okay, so what happened? The board received an update on the district's financial outlook as it continues preparing for fiscal 2026-27 budget. No vote was taken on that item. Why does this matter? The budget determines how billions of dollars are invested in classrooms, staffing, student supports, and district operations. Remember, I got into some of that in the last episode. Please review that if you haven't, because I did the budget and what is you. Although this wasn't a vote, these discussions help shape future budget discussions. So where does your voice come in at? What should the board highest budget priority for the upcoming school year be? Should it be protecting classroom instruction, student support services? We know that that's needed. Technology investment, as technology continues to be innovative and grow, the school system, education system would need to also be aligned with that. Administrative efficiencies, should that be a priority? Or is it something else? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Okay, the next item that was discussed here was the policy amendment. Okay, so the board approved amendments to the comprehensive non-discrimination, harassment, and retaliation policy. Okay, why does this even matter? Board policies establish the expectations and procedures that guide how the district responds to complaints involving students and employees. Policy changes often have effects long after meeting agendas, and we know that policy is crucial to governing any school board and definitely the Chicago Public School Board. Why is your voice important? It is important because what policies do you need to know about? Are the board policies explained clearly enough for the parents and employees to understand? So the policies should be clear and there should be no questions around why these policies exist and what the policy states. If not, how could the board improve this type of communication? Okay, so that was a policy there. We're going to move on to the next item, which is there was items about technology, approve multiple times involving ClassLink, AT&T, by network infrastructure, managed print services, ACT, and the College Board. So also within a school budget, there are certain items that need to be and contracts that need to be approved or it's done. So a lot of these things, like for instance, DocuSign, things are just not what they say, wet signatures anymore, with everyone doing things digitally now. So now your signature and any contracts can also be digitalized. So I am, as a technology professional myself, an expert, I do know that DocuSign is a company that allows you to put forth and provide signatures digitally. So that's one of the items that they approved. That was on the agenda. Okay, let's move forward to our legislative item that was on there. The board approved district's legislative agenda. Why does it matter? The legislative agenda outlines the issues that CPS plans to advocate with state and federal lawmakers. Many decisions made in Springfield and Washington directly affect our classrooms. So again, when you hear that CPS has to go down to Springfield and advocate, for instance, for money for more school funding, this is on the legislative agenda. Okay, why does this matter? Why is your voice needed? What education issues do you believe CPS should advocate for for the most? Okay, is it school funding, teacher recruitment? We still, there is, I know, still issues in retaining teachers, especially African American teachers. Okay, special education, school safety, career and technical education, or another issue. Share your thoughts about that. What do you think the CPS should be advocating for in Springfield on their legislative agenda items? Okay. And then we have also included in on the board as well, on their agenda items, are legal issues. Okay, what happened? The board approved AR 7, authorizing payment of a proposed legal settlement involving the Hagan, King, Muhammad, Bowen, and Haywood litigation. Okay, you can look further into that to see if you want to know more about what that entailed. Okay, why does this matter? Okay, because public school districts have a responsibility to manage litigation involving the district. So these are your tax dollars that, when they have to go to court constantly to defend a legal issue, okay, these are your tax dollars that are going for that. Settlement approvals involve public funds and are part of the board's oversight responsibility. Not only settlements, but again, cases that are being brought forth in the district are also your tax dollars, and the continuation of those court cases and things like that. It is also important to remember that a settlement resolves legal disputes, but does not necessarily constitute an admission of liability. Okay, it just resolves that issue so that the board and the people in that litigation can move forward. Why is your voice is important? When taxpayer dollars are used, again, to resolve legal disputes, it is your tax dollars. How much information do you believe you should be shared, that should be shared with you and the public? Where should the balance be between transparency and protecting confidential legal matters? Okay, so I would definitely love to hear your perspective on that. So don't forget to leave your comments. Okay. So in closing here, I do want to reflect back on why this podcast is here, why this platform exists. It is for us all to better understand some of the board agenda items and the approval of those items, and how that ultimately impacts students as a whole. So those were the 5 biggest decisions from the June 25th Chicago Board of Education meeting. I hope today's episode helped make those decisions a little easier for you to understand. If I did, please like this video and subscribe to Chicago Education Watch. And most importantly, join the conversation by sharing your thoughts in the comment section. Remember, again, this podcast isn't just about my perspective. It's about creating a space where our communities can learn from one another, because informed communities build stronger schools and stronger communities. Thank you for joining me. I'm Dr. Barnett, and I'll see you next time on Chicago Education Watch.
The Chicago Education